So hello everyone, I'm Sandeep Agrawal, team leader with CDOT, and I'm also administrator for the PM Wani Central Registry, and I'm chairing IEEE SAP 2872 standard program, which we'll be discussing today. And apart from that, I'm also chairing IEEE SA Rural Communication Program. Today's talk will be based on IEEE SA 2872, that is interoperable and secure wireless local area network infrastructure and architecture, in short also called EJA-WANI. So thank you for the opportunity to present today. So agenda of today's talk will include scope of the proposed standard, need of the project, the summary of the program so far, the ecosystem, the Wi-Fi ecosystem, various requirements, what we are trying to address as part of this standard, the current focus area, what we are discussing, and now currently as the PM Wani program getting implemented in country, so mapping the standard to PM Wani, that is the final slide which we will discuss. Scope of the proposed standard. So this standard specifies an architecture for interoperable and secure public WLAN network infrastructure to provide seamless connectivity for users of IEEE 802.11 networks. The network infrastructure shall consist of 802.11 wireless access points, WAPs, of different make and models and from different vendors. The backhaul connectivity provided by different service providers, authentication and policy infrastructure and services such as voice, data, video offered by different application service provider through subscription plans. The network infrastructure element shall interwork with each other in a secure manner, and the infrastructure shall support discovery and inclusion of compliant WAPs to provide a seamless service for its user. So basically, the scope is around defining an interoperable and secure public Wi-Fi architecture. And when we say interoperable, all the players of this ecosystem, which we will discuss in subsequent slide, should be able to interop with each other. That means all the entity can function independently in the network and still able to communicate with another entity. And this communication between various entities should be secure. And multiple other functions such as backhaul connectivity can be provided by a separate standalone entity. The service can be provided by separate standalone entity. The authentication infrastructure can be provided by standalone entity. The policy infrastructure can be provided by standalone entity. So basically, it is unbundling the complete ecosystem where different functions can be performed by different standalone entity, yet they all interop securely in the architecture. Need of the project: when we have submitted this particular standard for approval to IEEE SA, WLAN based on IEEE 802.11 standards are scalable and affordable technology to provide connectivity. Due to their operation in unlicensed spectrum and their low-cost scalable architecture, backward compatibility, the rich user device ecosystem, among other attributes, countries are expanding their public WLAN infrastructure to proliferate broadband and expedite the bringing of citizens to digital economy. So this is what we are seeing everywhere, including India, that countries are expanding their public Wi-Fi infrastructure so that they can bring their citizens in digital economy. Specific to countries such as India have defined a goal of having 5 million public WLAN deployed by 2020 and 10 million by 2022. There is a pressing need of a well-defined standard which can be adopted to deploy interoperable and secure public WLAN infrastructure for seamless user experience. So the motivation, looking at our ambitious target in India, but idea is also to make it a global standard in IEEE platform, so that countries with similar need or regions or entity with similar needs can adopt it. The summary of the program so far: the PAR, that is Project Authorization Request, was submitted on January 2020, which is approved in March 2020. The program expected submission of the standard is in Jan 2023. The expected date of completion is August 2023, and the PAR will expire by 2024, end of 2024. These are the website where the program details are already available. We have conducted 7 meetings so far, with a gap of 2.5 months due to ongoing PM1 implementation in country. But the next meeting, which is planned on 12th of May, the mode of meeting is, of course, virtual through WebEx. We are having a monthly meeting. So far, as part of the working group, we have multiple presentation already completed and few presentations are already lined up. There are 2 presentation. This particular standard development activity is individual driven activity. I'm just indicating the affiliation to give an idea that who all are engaged right now in the program, but it is completely individual driven standard activity. So far there is a presentation from member affiliation with CDOT on the WANI v1.0 framework, which has been tried and tested and pilot has been conducted. So there was a discussion. Then a second discussion with a member affiliation to CDOT was WANI token flow, the token which has been introduced in WANI framework. A detailed discussion on the flow, what are the shortcomings and other thing has been discussed and captured. There is a presentation from member affiliation from WBA, Wireless Broadband Alliance. They have discussed about their RICS framework, which is a framework for the Wi-Fi roaming. The new and ongoing activity with respect to open roaming. The WBA IDs to define multiple entity in the network. And they also presented how open roaming can be mapped to WANI framework. So this was a detailed, discussion contribution which we have received from member affiliation to WBA. And recent presentation is from member affiliated to NTI-PRIT, which is a policy wing of Department of Telecom. So NTI-PRIT has a policy group based on public Wi-Fi. So we had a presentation and they have proposed an architecture called Centralized Architecture for Public Wi-Fi Proliferation, called CAWP. So we had a detailed discussion on the presentation and various focus area, agenda, country specific requirement, centralized versus distributed architecture has been discussed. And currently we are defining a focus area to form the subgroups to focus on multiple aspects of public Wi-Fi. And few presentation which are lined up. One is from member affiliated to Nokia and one member affiliated to Broadband India Forum. And we are expecting few more contributions going forward. So with respect to ecosystem, when we see a public Wi-Fi network, we have multiple entities participating in the network, not only a Wi-Fi network, but there are multiple other entities which participate here, starting from users, because these are the entity who is going to consume the internet bandwidth. So if you see from users perspective, there could be a bifurcation of user, some who are very tech savvy, digitally literate, able to connect to the network with ease, though there is a complexity, but since due to their frequent using of the devices and ease of using the devices, so there is a urban population. And now similarly, there is a rural population who will be the user to these public Wi-Fi infrastructure. And there will be also folks like, want to access the internet just going for a tea or some break, and they just want to consume something which they can afford. So these type of users are there as part of the Wi-Fi ecosystem, and users will be in an area where both cellular and Wi-Fi coverage will be there, or it could be only in an area where only Wi-Fi coverage is there. Their usage pattern will be varying. Some will, dedicatedly consume the data on a monthly basis. Some consumer will, consume the data only as per their need. Maybe use and throw type of consumption will be there. And there are multiple, onboarding mechanism to Wi-Fi from the user perspective. From the device perspective, now we have, only Wi-Fi supported devices like laptop or desktop when you connect the dongle, or even tablets. We have Wi-Fi for cellular supported devices like our mobile phones and even tablets. Old legacy devices, that means the devices which only barely support only Wi-Fi as a basic functionality, but may not support the upgraded new, standards which has come in coming times. And we have new devices which can support this EAP SIM based support. Now the new type of other user devices which are coming into the network is sensors, which are going to utilize public Wi-Fi infrastructure, surveillance devices, which is also going to ride over the public Wi-Fi infrastructure, and connected vehicles going forward. So these are, user devices which will participate in the public Wi-Fi ecosystem. When we look from Wi-Fi network, there will be legacy access points, the access point which HS 2.0 compliant support, or the access point which only connect to an internet backhaul, or access point with captive portal and AAA, the complete network, or Wi-Fi network with CP, AAA, and telco core, like offload core for mobile data offloads. A standalone network, roaming enabled network, like some networks only functioning when you go to that coverage area and utilize it, but you may not be able to use the same plan when you go to another network. And there could be network which are roaming enabled. That means you take a plan at one place, but you can seamlessly go to other, venue and able to use the same plan. And hybrid, roaming network, which some supports and some doesn't. So, and from other players' perspective, so this is well-known user device and Wi-Fi network. And from a player's perspective, we have TSPs, ISPs, VNOs who will be participating in this network. Specific to India, if we see the new term like public data office, a local entrepreneur, small chai wala, kirana wala, who want to set up a Wi-Fi access point, but doesn't want to bother about, the complexity of deploying the network. So their job would be only to host an access point, give the power it on, and when they leave their, shut down their SOP or something, they just power off. If such, entity exists, then there will be a requirement of aggregator who really take care of the complexity of deploying the network for these smaller players, who will provide Wi-Fi network functions to them. A neutral host player, Wi-Fi app provider, like application providers, authentication infrastructure provider, a roaming hub, clearinghouse provider, and for secure communication, PKI, that is public key infrastructure provider. So these all players also coexist in the public Wi-Fi network. Like TSP, ISP, they have there could be two functions. They could also provide service and bandwidth. And when there is a PDO or aggregator type of model, their function only limit to providing the internet bandwidth. So they all participate here. With respect to public agency, when we see public Wi-Fi, there are other agencies who has an interest in this network, like lawful agencies, smart city authorities, if public Wi-Fi is deployed in a smart city projects. Government state agencies want to know the health of public Wi-Fi, data analytics agencies, disaster authority agencies, because they want to utilize this infrastructure to send critical information to the end users. From application perspective, general internet, mobile offload, public utility. If government wants to, give certain public utility over public Wi-Fi, so that public utility emergency alert from disaster authority connectivity infrastructure for smart city like IoT, connected vehicles, Wi-Fi callings. So these all will become application riding over this public Wi-Fi network. From deployment perspective, it's a well known, like there are railway stations, metros, village center, bus stands, mall, airport, tea shop, nook and corner shop, city center, market, community center, and now we are also seeing many other area where people are taking the Wi-Fi to the area rather than people coming to the place where the Wi-Fi is available. So these all become a deployment requirement. And from the plan requirement, limited public utility. These could be free plans, prepaid plans, postpaid plans. All plans should be coexist in the architecture. So from requirement perspective, we are focusing on unbundled architecture to allow multiple players, the player which we have discussed above, to participate in public Wi-Fi ecosystem. It said allow user present in both urban as well as rural areas to onboard the public Wi-Fi with ease and in single click. The architecture shall not depend on a specific capability of user devices as well as access point and core element. Legacy devices or networks shall also seamlessly work. So this is important from the perspective that if architecture is heavily dependent on a specific capability which are not available in legacy devices and network, for example, Passpoint, HS 2.0, or other specific requirement, the architecture should include these legacy deployment as well to provide single click secure Wi-Fi services. Multiple subscription plans shall be supported in the architecture to meet different usage needs. There could be prepaid, postpaid, voucher based plan, low denomination 1 rupees, 2 rupees plan, pay as you go, or even pay and throw, like use and throw type of plans should be supported. It shall allow multiple players to interop securely. That is important. When all the players will come, they should interop and interop securely. It shall allow small service provider to easily plug into public Wi-Fi infrastructure and provide seamless service to its subscriber and interop with bigger players such as TSP and ISP. It shall enable migration of Wi-Fi infrastructure to public Wi-Fi infrastructure with ease and provide a single window view into the public Wi-Fi network for many other state agencies and other to see what is the health of the network. Currently, the focus area, we are divided the focus area into multiple sub areas like interoperable architecture of multiple players to operate in ecosystem. Like there could be application provider, access point provider, bandwidth provider, core provider, central database provider. A subgroup may focus on dependency of architecture on specific capability of user device, access point, and core network. Another focus area is identity of the user in network, whether we are going to use unique username as an identity or we are going to use MAC ID devices, looking at the challenges of MAC randomization, whether it could be certificate-based identity in the network. Identity of multiple players in the ecosystem. With respect to user identity, there is also requirement of identifying each players in the ecosystem. Security wise, Wi-Fi layer security, application layer security, and secure exchange among these players are the focus in the security subgroup. User charging, voucher-based data pack, wallet-based settlement, universal roaming, that application provider-centric roaming or Wi-Fi provider-centric roaming. So when we say about roaming, whether the roaming will be centered around the application provider, where user will, the first interface to log in, or it will be a Wi-Fi provider-centric roaming, that where he buys the plan. Settlement, commercial settlement among all players, whether it could be centralized settlement or it could be decentralized. The requirement of lawful interceptions in the network and what all applications for which this particular architecture is suitable. So with this,
can we wrap up soon?
Yeah, so it's the last slide now.
Okay.
So looking at P2872 and the scope, and with our working with TRAI and now driving the PM1E architecture on behalf of DOT. So we find, lots of similarities what we are looking at PM1E and how P2872 can map. Like when we talk about multiple players in PM1E, we see there is a PDO-A. So first, if you see from the left-hand side, there are, user and user devices. Now there are PDOs who are deploying Wi-Fi access point. These are separate entities. There is PDO-A who functions as aggregator for these PDOs, is a separate entity. There is an app provider who is a completely separate entity which provides an app interface to the user. And there is a central registry as a central database to allow or help interop and secure communication among all these entities. So this framework, maps very well with our ongoing PM1E architecture and deployment. And we will be looking, how to, adopt what is being done at PM1E and evolve P2872 to meet or accommodate all the requirements and make it a global standard. And we are also looking at not creating reinventing the wheels, because there are multiple other entities also already have worked and are working. So we are also licensing and collaborating with them to see what can be used in existing manner and what can be developed as a new requirement in the network. So this is from my end, Srikanth. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks, Sandeep. I think it's great to see CDOT taking leadership in this particular initiative through you and other colleagues. So a couple of questions from my end. What do you, I mean, I see a lot of backend work from the slides that you showed. Specific to the access points, does this envisage any software specific to this particular initiative? Do you see anything that is needed in the access point?
So, so in access point, basically, we want to make sure that without any additional functionality like Passpoint or HS 2.0 compliance, the architecture should be able to provide a single click access to the end user. So we don't envisage any major change or on the access point side or even the Wi-Fi core network side. So that is the plan so far, to make it more agnostic so that any existing deployment can also migrate to the architecture seamlessly.
So in fact, that was my leading to that question, is that the existing Wi-Fi APs should be, I hope, be able to connect to this initiative without too much change, I presume. And is there a planned pilot of some scale where you will leverage the PM1E kind of deployment? Is there anything in the works? There are some questions which have come up, so I'll let you answer and then maybe take up these.
Sure. So right now we are in the phase of requirement collection from multiple entities, and now we have subgroups focusing on what we want to target. So going forward, yes, we will use PM1E as a network to try out this particular architecture, that how it could be PM1E even can adopt the same with very minimum changes.
Thanks. So I have a question from Anand Gupta. Will this architecture be supporting mobile data offload?
So mobile data offload has certain dependency on the UE device as well as network side from the perspective of EAP SIM ACA supports. So we would like to have mobile data offload as an application included in the architecture. So we will be looking for the contribution or discussion that what changes we can bring so that mobile data offload can be supported as an application in the architecture. We'll be looking for contributions towards that.
Question from Stanley: is PDO still relevant in India with mobile data being quite cheap?
So So now Cabinet has already approved PM-WANI in a PDO-PDOA app provider central registry architecture. And we are seeing more than 100 entities already signed up to provide services in this particular architecture. More than around 44,000 access point already deployed or migrated to PM-WANI. So we are seeing it is very relevant, and it will catch up to higher scale in when the days passes.
Thank you. Joy Kuri's question is, what is the plan for user authentication in this public Wi-Fi network architecture?
So user authentication, so discussion is what should be the identity which we should use for user authentication. Like we have discussed whether it could be username password based authentication. We are not going to invent any new authentication, going to use what is there. Or it could be MAC ID, but MAC ID has now challenges with respect to randomization, and other could be certificate based authentication. So this is under discussion, that what we should select so that our other requirement can also be fulfilled.
Thank you. The last couple of questions, maybe you can answer them together, which I think you've already. Yogesh asked this question about are different technologies like 11AC and 11AX possible, and also is the backhaul only going to be wireless? This is a question from Shrikar. So maybe you can combine answer that in the interest of time.
So access point technology agnostic, that means whether the access point is N, AC, AX, all should work in the architecture. And from bandwidth perspective, we are treating the bandwidth provider as a separate entity. So any ISP, TSP, or who are allowed to provide the bandwidth to the access points, they can function as a completely independent entity, and they can just supply the bandwidth to these players, and service can be maintained by someone else.
Yeah, that was the question related to backhaul. So the backhaul is really the bandwidth provider's responsibility.
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Sandeep.